Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aseem Singhal, and today I'm going to tell you a strategy which is a pullback strategy, and I use pivot points for that. You can do it in different time frames. I generally use a little slightly bigger time frame like a 15 minutes or a 30 minutes, and this strategy is giving me a really good accuracy. And since it's a pullback strategy, so my stop loss is really small, and I can even get 1:4 kind of trades. So let's say if my stop loss is only 10 points, my target can be 40 points. Right, so it's a great strategy. You can check. We'll talk about all the rules. But as usual, before we go forward, please subscribe to my channel. So let's start the video. Hi everyone, I'm going to tell you the rules of the pivot point strategy. And in this, I use a pullback method, and I only use one indicator, which is the pivot points, the standard pivot points. And I'm going to show you some examples, both bullish and bearish, and then we'll see some live examples also on the index. So obviously pivot points is very important. I really like pivot points because they give you very important levels from where market can reverse. So I will be using those levels. It's very easy to add. All you have to do is just click on pivot point standard, and once you do that, you can add the pivot points. I will just require the R1, R2 and the S1, S2, which is the support 1, support 2, and the resistance 1 and resistance 2, add along with the pivot point. And as I just said, it's a very important level. So basically what I do is I wait for the price to come at one of these levels. And based on that, if I can see that the reversal is taking place, I can go for a reversal trade. And most of the time I've seen that the pivot points work very well on stocks, on options, on futures, MCX currency, everywhere. So let's talk about the entries. Essentially what I'm looking for is, let's say the stock has clearly broken the pivot points. So this orange lines are the pivot points. So this is the P, which is the orange line, and you can see that this green candle has clearly broken the pivot point. Now what I'm looking for is, I'm not going to take a trade right now because I don't know where the market is going to go, but see what happens. It goes up, it takes a pullback, and now clearly you can see that it is trying to make some kind of a support on the pivot point. So at that point of time, what I'll do is I'll be buying once the high of the previous candle breaks. So this is where I can go for the buying trade with a very small stop loss. So I can take the small stop loss of only the previous candle low, and I can put the next pivot point as a target. And you will notice that it's a very good risk to reward, almost a 1:4 or a 1:5 risk to reward. So this is how I would trade it, and I would generally trade on a bigger time frame. So maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes or an hourly time frame only. So let's take some more examples. I am showing you the example of Tata Motors on a 15 minutes on a 30 minutes time frame now. What I am trying to do again is a pullback strategy, right? So you can see here the stock came down. Now either if it would have gone up and it would have given me a candle like this, then I would have taken the trade on the low part because of a pullback. But you can see that this did not happen. This did not happen. Actually, it kept on going down, and it broke the next pivot also. It broke the next pivot also. So in this case, I can directly take the trade once the low of the candle breaks with the high of the candle as a stop loss. So this becomes my stop loss because this is now, you can clearly see that it is not taking any reversals. And since it has broken the next pivot point also, which was a strong support zone, I can go for a continuation trade. And I can keep the target as this, and you can see I'll get a profit of 1:2. So this is the second kind of trade, but this is a non-reversal trade. Today I just want to focus more on the reversal trades first. So let's take one more example of a reversal trade. So I'm showing you bullish example now. So see this, it clearly broke first pivot point, the pivot point. Now I'm waiting for the stock to take a pullback. So you can see India Bull Real Estate on a 15 minutes time frame, it has taken the pullback. It again comes to the same point where it is taking the support. So now I'm waiting for the entry. I can take an entry once one of the candle breaks, the high breaks. So somewhere here, this can be my entry with a previous swing or the low of the candle as a stop loss. So this becomes my stop loss. And again, you can see it's a big trade, and I'm getting 1:2 risk to reward very easily in just a matter of 1 hour. I will generally exit on the next pivot point because this can be a good resistance level. So I would like to take an exit here only, even though you can notice that the stock kept going up, but I would actually like to take an exit here only. Let's take maybe a couple more examples before I show you Nifty also. Again, a bullish trade happening here. This big candle has broken R1 and R2. Now I'm waiting for the pullback. So I've got the pullback here, got the pullback, and the high gets broken in the next candle itself. So this is where I will be buying. So this becomes my buying trade with the small stop loss, like this can be my stop loss. And again, you can see that the stock kept going up, and wherever is your next level, you can take an exit. But you can see that it was again a great trade, 1:3 or a 1:4 kind of a trade. Let me show you one more example here, and then we'll look at the examples on Nifty also. So you can see here that again the pivot line was broken easily. So it came up. Now the pullback came, and again the red candle was formed with the low here touching the pivot point. That means it has taken the support now. So I will be taking the entry somewhere here. Once this candle breaks, this can be my entry, with this can be my stop loss, a small stop loss. And with this R1 as a target, you can see again a 1:3 trade. So this is how I would trade the pivot point strategy. And I've shown you on different time frames, on 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 1 hour. It works well on different time frames. So this is how the pullback strategy works. Let's see the example live also on Nifty now. So I've already added the pivot point. Let me show you how to add them. So all you have to do is go to indicators, just click pivot point standard. And this is the one pivot point standard I've chosen. So once you do that, you'll get all these lines automatically. And how do I take the trade now? You can see here. Now I'll show you a bearish trade. I'm doing it on a 30 minutes time frame. You can clearly see that this level was broken by the big red candle. So it came down and it came up and it came up and it touched this level. So I can take an entry here. I can take an entry here. This can be my selling entry with this as a stop loss. And I can exit once it touches my next pivot point, which is S1. In this case, you can again notice that it was a 1:1 trade, but it still gave me profits. So this was a decent trade. If you see here that we can even go for the second trade now. So similar thing happened now. It came down, then it came up, it took a resistance, and could have taken another trade, and again the market fell down. And we could have taken a partial exit at 1:1. So generally you would notice that these points act as very strong support and resistances. They are very important levels. And if we see that the market is coming back to the same level, we can go for a reversal trade. But I will always take the entry once the low of that candle is broken, in case I'm going for a selling trade. And if I'm going for a buying trade, that means if a trade is like this, then I would want the high of the candle to be broken somewhere here, and I'll put the low as a stop loss. So this is how I would be trading this strategy. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. We saw a lot of examples of how we can use pullback with the pivot points, and it seems to work really good. We can go for both buying and selling trades. If you did like the video, please subscribe to my channel so that you can keep getting such videos in the future. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.